Alright, so I thought I'd just make a video because I'm out here with Buddy, and I'm going to play a video I recorded earlier this morning while I was trying to get Debian installed. So kids, I just want to go ahead and say this is why you do not decide that you are going to try Gentoo just ever. So I've tried installing Gentoo, the shit ain't working. Just it's Gentoo. After updating the @world set, my entire make.conf file disappeared, and now I'm having issues doing anything. So fuck you, Gentoo. Now I would like to be able to try. Hex DSL did a video on him switching over to Debian, and I'd like to be able to give Debian a try. But Debian, this has happened to me before. And of course it's happened to me after I've installed Gentoo and am a little upsetty spaghetti. I can go here, download Arch Linux. Look at that, just instantly pops up. It's ready to download. Go over to fucking Debian's site. Like, this is the most aggravating thing ever, because Debian is a fine distribution. This right here is why people don't fuck around with Linux. This is why normies out there have such a bad view of Linux. It's because shit like this. Their fucking website loads, it works perfectly fine. Like, you can, you know, again, my internet's not fucked up. I go up here and I click download. Don't worry, we're not going to sit here, but this could load for literally, I've left it for 10 minutes and it still hasn't done jack shit. I close that, I go down here to more. Go to download. Again, you see it, it's snappy. It's snappy. My internet's fast here. Small installation image. Click on this one. Nothing. It's going to just sit here and load forever. Try to do this. Nothing. Nothing. But click here. See that? The site is not... It's their fucking downloads. Like, Jesus Christ, Debian. Get your fucking life together. Now, I'm going to assume that I have just played the video from this morning. I'm back on Arch. It's Arch. It works. It's fine. It's fucking Arch. It's my operating system. I like it. But the thing that's killing me about Debian and Gentoo, for one, Gentoo is always just that fucking distro that just, it seems so nice. It seems great. Seems amazing. And by the way, if you've watched my videos before, you know that there is another video just like this from a while ago of me walking around outside complaining about Gentoo. But yeah, I can't, dude. Gentoo is just the worst because it sounds so great. I like the idea behind Gentoo. I like everything about it. There goes Buddy. He's all excited. But I like the idea of Gentoo. It's just, it never works out. It never installs right. There's always something I run into that's a problem. And then Debian is another distribution that everyone seems to love. It seems to be people's go-to a lot of the times. Like, you know, you might start off on a different distribution, but once you get really familiar with Linux and you have the choice of something like Debian or Arch, a lot of people like to go Debian. I've never had luck with Debian. I've never had any luck with Debian. There's always some form of problem installing Debian, which is always weird because it's fucking Debian. It should just work. But for me, that never turns out the way. And then the video that you just saw highlights the problem with a lot of people's knowledge or first experience when it comes to Linux. Because Debian is a perfectly good distribution. But this morning, when I needed to download and install it, none of the download links worked. Nothing works. Debian. What is going on? Why? And how are you supposed to deal with a problem like that? You just choose a different distro. And that's really what upset me so much this morning. It's like, Debian's a good distro. Linux is great, but there's so many small flaws with Linux as a whole that makes it where I completely understand why people are like, it's not for me, I don't want to use it, or it's riddled with problems. Even though it's not riddled with problems, I understand the viewpoint that it is. Because shit like this morning, stuff that happened to me this morning, happens to those of you who want to try out Linux and aren't familiar. And if you're not familiar with Linux and know that that stuff, like just every download link on a distro's website not working, is not normal. You don't know that. And so I understand that your opinion of Linux is worse off for it. I understand that. And that shouldn't be the way that it is. It really shouldn't. There's no it's not like there's no excuse for it, but it's wholly unacceptable to have a major distribution like Debian have its website where the downloads just stop working. And it's always small quirks like that make me understand why some people have the opinion that they do of Linux. I understand it. Like, for me, I've got some new hardware. I've got a Dell G5 5505 SE. It is a newer Dell all AMD laptop. It's got a Ryzen chip in it with the new RX 5600M graphics card. It's on the bleeding edge of hardware. On the Zen kernel, the latest Zen kernel, I had weird issues where the internal sound card of the laptop was not detected. And so the only way for me to get sound was to hook it up to another monitor and use the HDMI port's audio output as my main source, which is fine. That's just fine. It's a weird audio bug, but whatever. And then if I hopped onto the LTS kernel, also on that latest Zen kernel, which again, this is a performance optimized kernel, so it doesn't really make sense for it to be behaving this way. But anyway, also the graphics card crashing would just happen sometimes. Then I switched over and used the LTS kernel. The LTS kernel, which for those of you who are new to Linux, which I doubt if you're watching this far that you're super new to Linux, but the LTS kernel is long-term support. That's all it means. So the LTS kernel, all the GPU crashing and stuff, gone. Awesome. Perfect. Except the audio issue was still there, but again, it's fine. I can work around with it. Now, I tried out Gentoo last night, reinstalled Arch and everything, and so for today's Arch install, I decided, screw it. I never go with just the regular latest Linux kernel. Never really do that shit. It's like, I'll try it. I'll try it out. See how it goes. Try out the new regular Linux kernel. Audio issues fixed. Graphics card problems fixed. Everything fucking works. Why? The Zen kernel should just be a performance optimized regular Linux kernel. The LTS kernel, I mean, I could sort of understand that being out of date and not stuff working, but the fact that it performed the same as the Zen kernel, but just didn't cause GPU crash, it's all fucking weird. It's weird issues like that I understand throws people off when it comes to Linux. I understand. Now, those of you who are watching this might be like, well, you use Linux, so it sounds like you've had a bad experience and you should just use something like Windows or Mac, which, by the way, I have. I'm not one of those people who is like, I can't touch Microsoft, I can't touch Apple products because some philosophical reason. No, I'll use them if I need to. The thing though is I should never fucking need to. Never. Because, for one, Mac is, to be honest, I know people have their opinions on Apple and Mac and everything, and yes, they are building a proprietary walled garden. That's their own thing. Hate them or love it for it. It really doesn't fucking matter. They're doing their own thing, but at least in the Apple ecosystem, they try and take care of their customers. They might make bad decisions, but Apple is a company that they understand PR and they understand how public relations just works in general. And so they're willing to learn from their mistakes and be public about it. They're willing to say, hey, we messed up. This is how we're going to fix the issue, or this is how we're going to steer us right back in the right direction. Cool. I don't really have a problem with it. The thing, though, is when it comes to Apple, it's more of, do you like the aesthetics of Apple? That's really what it is. Some people love macOS. macOS's design, I should say. Others hate it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. Just that's most likely why you pick Apple. I can't really get along with Apple all that much, only because for me it comes down to the file management on Mac OS. It's atrocious. It is disgusting. And for anybody who has OCD, never try Mac OS. Your mind will explode. But yeah, Microsoft and Windows 10, on the other hand, well, if you're watching this way down the line, it might be Windows 11 by the time you're watching this. Microsoft has created a product where stuff works, and that's it. That's it. They have built an operating system that is, quite frankly, shit. It's shit. It's garbage. Again, if you're going to make a point to try and say that Windows is good to me, make sure that in that justification, when you're typing out that comment, if your justification is because something works on Windows, stop. Because that's the only justification that you have for Windows being good. No one has ever been like, well, the file browser UI in Windows is amazing. Even if you look at Windows 11 and you go, this looks better, it's not the best design. It's not amazing. It's just, that's how Windows 10 should have looked. It's actually how Windows 10 should look. They should just do a fucking regular update to Windows 10 and apply the new theme. That's really all Windows 11 is a new theme and then more restrictions on how you can use Windows. And that's really the problem with Mac and Windows for me, is both of them, they're not my operating system. They're not. They never will be. I mean, if you look at the Windows and Apple licenses when it comes to their operating systems, you don't even own it. You don't even own it. Like, for those of you who don't know this, who have no clue that this is true, when you purchase a $200 license to use Windows 10 Pro, that's exactly what you're doing. You are spending $200 for the right to use Windows 10. You did not purchase Windows 10 Pro. It explicitly states that in the license. You do not own Windows 10. You cannot own a copy of Windows 10. You can purchase the license. Essentially, you can purchase the right to be able to use that operating system, but that's it. Windows 10 is not my operating system. Windows whatever will never be my operating system. Mac will never be my operating system, because the way the system functions is not up to me. On Arch, on Debian, on whatever distribution you want to come up with, even if they're not FSF approved, because I could go into a tangent about the FSF and their fucking, I don't even know what to call it. They're just, the FSF is just a joke. But anyway, even in all those distributions, you do have a choice on how they work. You do, even though some people would try to convince you that you don't, you do. Any default inside of Debian, inside of Arch, or whatever, it can be changed. Even though Debian is not a rolling release distribution, you could choose to make it into a rolling release distribution. I don't know why the hell you do that, because you chose to run Debian in the first place, but you can. And that's sort of the thing. With Arch, everything that's installed on my system, I chose. How my file browser works, I chose. How my window manager works, I chose. How my programs even open on my screen, I chose. How half of the bullshit things that I do on my computer that are super simple tasks that I've automated with a bash script, I mean, I wrote that functionality. So it is, by all definitions, my operating system. Even though I'm using mainline Arch or whatever I choose to use from a year from now, it is my operating system. It's my computer. It's my OS. Like, see, here's the crazy thing about the way software is going nowadays. Nowadays, it is more and more proprietary in a world where almost everyone hates proprietary. A perfect example is Audacity. Now, a whole bunch of Linux YouTubers are making Audacity videos, and I think it's perfect that I'm throwing it into this video, because that means you can't make the statement or the assumption that I am just trying to get views off of the Audacity stuff going on. But Audacity, if you don't know, for one, if you don't know what Audacity is, let me go ahead and enlighten you. Audacity is a audio program that essentially every creative person who makes videos or does anything with audio uses, because it's, well, for one, it's free software, so you can do anything you want to with it. Also, it's free, so you don't have to pay for it, so obviously most people use it. It's a great piece of software, but it was bought out by a company, and for all you those who are already like, "Ooh, that's bad sign," yeah, it is, because that's literally how every free software FOSS project goes downhill. It's just they get bought out by a company, they want to make money. And Muse Group of Retards is the newest one. I think it's called Muse Corp or something. They make, I don't know, they make shitty software that, I guess, well, as far as I know, it's decent. Some people like it. So there's that. But they bought Audacity, and what they've done with it is incredible. Incredible. Did they improve anything? Oh, and by the way, I think it's been a month or so. No, it's probably been longer than that. I don't know how many months ago it was. May have even been over a few months ago that Audacity got purchased. But they got purchased. They did not improve the software in any way. But, like, just in case there's someone from, I don't know if the company's called Muse Group, but I believe it is, so I'm just going to go with it, Muse Group of Retards. If anyone wants to, from that company, try and justify that they've done something with the software, everyone in the comments, I expect you to beat the living shit out of that dude. Get him out of here, because he's lying, and he can suck a fat dong, because he ain't done shit. Nothing's changed about Audacity, except for they want to get telemetry from you. They want to do exactly what Microsoft and every other big corporation is doing right now and harvesting your data. Now, most people who are okay with this data harvesting are the same type of people who are like, well, I don't have anything to hide. Or they're the type of person where they're not like, I don't have anything to hide, but it's like, well, it benefits the company. It helps them make a better product. And I agree with that. I really do. If you don't think there's a reason for telemetry, I'm sorry, you're stupid. There is a reason why telemetry is a thing. It is beneficial, but here's the thing. I should have a fucking say in the matter. I should choose whether or not I'm going to send you my data. So that's all I got to say. I should be able to choose. But Audacity and a whole bunch of these other corporations just are like, well, we're not. They're trying to get telemetry under the guise of we're going to do something good with it, or we need it. But here's the thing: Audacity is the most blatant example of how that's not true, because Audacity is like an offline. You don't need fucking internet to do anything with Audacity. There's no feature of Audacity. Let me just restate that. There is no useful feature of Audacity that you should need internet for. As far as I know, there's no useful feature in Audacity that requires internet. Just saying. Now, again, collecting telemetry is not necessarily bad in of itself. The problem is when you're collecting telemetry for no fucking reason. Audacity has existed and been one of the best audio editing programs in existence without telemetry. You don't need it. No one's ever been like, you know what, Audacity would be much better if we could just get all of our users' information. We could do great things with Audacity if we had all that info. Nobody has ever once fucking said that. Until a corporation comes in and they're like, well, we can make... See, here's the thing. When you read their new privacy policy that everyone's talking about when it comes to Audacity, it's absolutely insane. It's nuts. For one, they break their own license. The GPL requires that you can't limit or restrict access to who can use the program. And then in their new privacy statement, because in the EU, you're not allowed to collect telemetry on children, which is a law that I think should be passed everywhere. I mean, yeah, you don't need to collect data on children. It's fucking creepy that anyone would, but whatever. Maybe a school, maybe that might make sense, but either way, it doesn't make sense. So they have to put that little, like, you can't actually, I think the way they word it is, I'm pretty sure it's, they actually say in their privacy statement, if you are under the age of 13, please don't use this. They ask you kindly not to, which, if... It's fucking hard to understand because essentially, if either way they go, you can't have both. You can't be GPL and not restrict access and then also harvest telemetry at the same time, because you either 13-year-olds and under are not allowed to use your software so that you can protect yourself legally against the EU's laws and where else might have them, or you just don't do that so that you don't break the GPL. And so here's what a lot of people have been saying. Audacity is just, they're just going to start requiring, or not start requiring, they're just going to change the license from something other than GPL, which I completely agree. Completely agree. It'll be a new thing from Audacity will pop up, like, you know, a fork, something completely new called something different, but at the same time it'll just be Audacity. And I can't even remember how I got into talking about this, but I will go ahead and say, and when it comes to Audacity, nobody would be that upset when it comes to telemetry collection and stuff like that if it was opt-in. For one, if it was opt-in, wouldn't be that big of a deal. Again, there's no need for it in Audacity, which is why I still don't think people would be receptive to it, because you don't fucking need it. So there's that. But yeah, Audacity is one of those things where Audacity highlights the fact that telemetry and these big corporations just don't understand Linux, like, in the FOSS community at all. Because why would you buy a product and then with the intention of turning it into a cash cow and then do everything wrong? I see, here's the thing. Corporations just don't get it. Here's the thing. Here's the way the FOSS community works. If Mu's group of retards had come in, purchased Audacity, and then did the much needed UI overhaul that we've all agreed that Audacity needed for forever. If you look at a picture of Audacity, it looks like it was made in 1991. It doesn't look terrible, but it looks outdated as shit. So why do we not just refresh the UI and that's it? do the one thing that everyone inside of the community has said that Audacity needs. No one has said that Audacity doesn't need a UI overhaul. Almost everyone, and by almost, I mean everyone, agrees that it does need to be updated. It's not like the UI is terrible. It's not like it's unusable or anything. No. It needs an UI update. Why in the fuck can a massive company that's going to buy out a product come in and do anything for the benefit? Like, Muse group of retards has come in, purchased a product, done absolutely nothing to improve it, and just started being like, okay, so we need to spy on, and see, here's the thing. People will try and say that it's a conspiracy theory, that companies want to take your data to sell it to another company. But yet we all know that that's true. We all know that the whole reason why telemetry is as big as it is because you can sell the data that you've collected. And yet people want to treat you as if you're a crazy conspiracy theorist because you're not okay with it and you won't be a part of it. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just, it's like, why is Audacity collecting information on its users when it serves no purpose? It serves no purpose. But when you look at it through the lens of they're a company, they want to make money. Suddenly, oh shit, dropped my vape. Whoops. Suddenly, it makes a lot more sense. It makes a shitload more sense. Because, think about it. They want to make money off this product that they just purchased. What's the best way to do that? Well, you have a product that people aren't going to pay for out of the box. How do you monetize that product? Well, you collect data on every single person who uses that software for free, and then you sell that usage data to another company. Doesn't sound like a conspiracy theory to me. It sounds pretty fucking logical. And the problem with it is it, again, it's the dumbest way of monetizing something like Audacity. The FOSS community, we value improvement and we value great software. So the funny thing to me is literally Muse Group there's no way that they're going to fix what they've done. Audacity is going to be forked very soon because no one trusts that company for shit, and they shouldn't. And there's nothing that Muse Group can do now to assure us that they're not going to fuck over Audacity in the future. So Audacity is essentially a dead project as of now. And the funniest thing is this company has just lost a major investment only because they were actually, like, here's the thing. I know this is not going to be PC, but they were actually retarded. That's what's funny to me. It's an entire corporation made up of retards who purchased a product, who should understand that the market that they purchased the product for will only pay for that product if it's improved. That's how FOSS works. Audacity would get more money coming in the door if they improved it. Wow. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy, dude. You're telling me that people would actually spend more money or just spend money in general on a product that gets improved? Yeah. Because see, here's the thing. I've never paid for Audacity before. Never. I've used Audacity in the past, but the frequency of which I use Audacity, compared to a lot of other content creators, I don't use Audacity that much. Even when it comes to recording the podcast with Matt over on the Linux Cast. By the way, I should throw up a card for his channel. Go over there and check him out. Matt's great. I do the podcast with him. Super great guy. But even then, most of the time I just use OBS to record my audio, and then just, because I normally already have OBS open, so I just hit the record button and then just rip out the audio and send it on over to him. I've never had to use Audacity a ton, but I guarantee you I'd throw Muse Group $5 for just doing the much needed UI overhaul for Audacity. And the great part is, it's not great. It's not great, because I'm sure there's employees at Muse Group who would like to be able to, I don't know, make money, pay their bills. And they work for a company that is so incompetent, it's a dishonor to every incompetent person out there to call them incompetent. They're retarded. And again, a lot of the people who would be like, that's not VC. Are you saying all of them have Down syndrome or something? No, because that would be an insult to people who have Down syndrome. They're retarded. They're straight up fucking retarded. Who in the hell would support a company like this? What? Like, what? So, I don't know. I've had a long day. I'm glad to be back on Arch. I'm glad everything's working, and I'm glad I don't have to deal with proprietary crap like on Windows and stuff where it's just not my operating system. It's not mine. I like my computer to be my computer, you know? I don't know, maybe that's just a weird thing nowadays to care about it, but I do. I care. And yeah, this has been a long, rambly video. I've been out here walking. Buddy's gotten a whole bunch of energy out. Buddy, where you at? Yeah, you doing good? You doing good? Good. So, yeah, he's gotten to play. I've gotten to talk. Hopefully you enjoyed this is definitely another rant video. 100%. Oh, shit, I've been recording for 30 minutes. All right, well, thank you for listening to me ramble, and hopefully you enjoyed listening to it. See you in the next video. Peace.